Good morning, it's Nikki Thompson, and this is Tea with Nikki. Embrace your wild woman. And today is a beautiful Monday. I just got back from the gym. I have been putting it off for a couple of weeks. I hurt myself, and then it's just taken me so long to get back into it that I was gonna just sleep in this morning. I didn't sleep great last night, and I'm thinking, just sleep in, it's okay. And then the other part of my brain's going, get up, we've booked this, we've got to get back into it. And the other brain's like, oh, but we didn't sleep that great, and you want to have more energy, and it's okay. And the other part of me is like, just get up, it's okay, just get up, you can sleep later. And then the dog came and licked me, and that was pretty much the sign from the universe that I needed to get up and go to the gym. So I did, and I'm feeling great. I think I might be a little bit sore tomorrow, but that's okay. My hip is fine. I have had hip issues for a long time since I had my first child, and it flares up every now and then, but it's pretty good right now. So I feel strong. I feel stronger after the gym workout, but I even feel stronger just going to the gym. So that in itself was awesome. So today I wanted to do a little chat, really, because I do my live video, and this also goes onto the podcast, and I love doing that. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can actually come and see me in video on social media as well. I do like to do a couple of different platforms so that you can listen to all of these great messages. Now, this chat I'm going to have with you today is about having different lenses and different perspectives than everybody else on the planet. We all have our own unique individual perspective and lenses that we see life through. And this really came up from conversation I was having at the Wild Woman Collective event on Saturday. So we do a monthly in-person meetup here on the Sunshine Coast, and we also do online workshops every week as well. So we had a lot of fun on Saturday, and one of the topics that came up was really about understanding our own lenses, our own perspective. And then if you are trying to connect deeper with a partner, with a friend, with anyone that you're trying to connect deeper with, understanding what their perspective and their lenses are can help you have more compassion and help you to see from their perspective, and help you also to understand what it is that they're really asking for, because we're not always asking for the true thing that we're desiring, because we don't always know what that is until potentially down the track. So helping you understand the perspectives and lenses that people are seeing life through can help you understand your perspective, but also other people's. So that's what we're going to be chatting about today. So when I'm talking about lenses, it's really like we're all wearing a set of glasses with multiple lenses in front of us. So those lenses could be where we grew up. It could be the language we speak, our culture. It could be how much money we had growing up. It can be our religion. It could be the structure of your family, even the positioning that you were among your siblings. All of these things can form our lens from when we're a young age, and it can impact the choices that we make. It impacts the belief systems that we have. It impacts our confidence levels. It impacts the resources we have available. It impacts the way that we believe certain things are happening in the world the way that they are. So all of these different lenses that we have impacts our perspective. And this is really important to understand, because when we're talking about feminine energy and our wild woman, we're talking about our intuition, but we're also talking about being a better person. We're talking about being our true selves, and understanding our own lenses is what helps us kind of take things to the next level. And being a wild woman isn't just about, doing life exactly how we want to do it, regardless of what anyone else thinks. That actually isn't it. It's about living our true self, so that we can give back, so that we can be an incredible energy in our community that we're in. That's the whole point of tuning in and listening to our intuition, because deep down we all want to be part of a beautiful community. We all want to contribute. And so understanding these lenses is important. So I want you to think about some of the lenses you believe you might have, that impact the decisions that you make. So for me, I grew up in a 2-parent, 3-child household, dogs, cats, all of that type of thing. We stayed in the same house my whole childhood, right until I moved out of home. And so that adds a lens that, home life is stable. Having a home is stable. Whereas if you were a child who grew up constantly moving, or having a roof over your head was never stable, that's going to add another lens there that's going to impact the way that you make decisions. Potentially you feel as though there's no safe space in the world. Potentially you might absolutely crave hell or high water that you are going to have a stable home for your children. You can always go one of two ways when depending on your childhood. You can either dive deeper into that cycle, whether it was good or bad, or you can go the exact opposite, which is either good or bad, right? So we often hear of people who have an alcoholic parent, and one child also becomes an alcoholic and another child isn't. They just don't even drink. So there's all these different things that understanding our lenses is helpful, but it does not mean that we have to stay in that space. Just because we grew up like that does not mean we have to stay in that space. We still get to make our own decisions, but it helps us to understand why we might be making these unconscious decisions. And also when we're trying to connect with other people, we can then have more compassion and see why they are making the decisions that they're making based on the childhood that they had, based on even their, how they are as an adult. So some of the lenses, our formative years is where the lenses are kind of really, really solid, unless we do a lot of inner work, a lot of therapy, or even just personal development and things like that. We won't unlock and tune into any of those issues. We'll just continually make unconscious decisions and go down a path in our life that we may or may not want. And we may or may not realize why. So those formative years is where things are really, really, they're solid. Those lenses are going to be pretty rock solid unless you do the work to remove them. And then we start to get older in our teenage years. Now, our teenage years are mostly influenced by our peers. So when we're younger, it's influenced by our home life. But as we become a teenager, it's really influenced by our peers. So what were you what was schooling like? Was it a stable school? Did you stay at the same school? Were you constantly moving? Neither is good or bad, but it's going to impact your decision making. Were you bullied? Were you a bully? Did you have friends at school? Did you enjoy it? Were you good at school? Did you feel confident in learning? Now, again, all of these lenses could have started from primary school when it comes to the schooling situation, because if we weren't good at primary school, we hold on to that lens and feel as though we're not going to be good in high school either. We never change them because we never think to. We don't even know to do that. And unless our parents are working through that with us, then as a child, we're not going to think like that. So then we get to adulthood. Do you get a job? Are you going to travel? All of these things are going to impact on on the lenses that we gather as we become an adult. Are we good at making decisions? Are we independent? What do we want in our life? So again, based on what our childhood is like, we might make decisions that we do want a family, or that we don't want a family, or that we want to travel, or that we want to stay still and get a degree, or that we want to do whatever it is, or that we want all of the things because our parents showed us that we can do whatever we want to do and go for that. So I want you to think back to the lenses that you've gathered over your life, you'll probably identify the most common ones. But then I also want you to start to think about people who you have a deep connection with, and you've probably understood some of their lenses as well, particularly a partner or a best friend and things like that. You will understand some of their lenses and why they make the decisions that they make. And when they come to you with a problem, you can often see why they are thinking the way that they're thinking. So when we come across people who completely disagree with us, this is when we really need to tune into ourselves and take a step back and think, okay, why are they thinking that way? What makes this feel so right for them to think that way? Because I don't think that way. And I can see that my lenses are making me see the world this way with this perspective. And that's why I think that way. But their lenses are making them see the world in a completely different way. And they think they're right just as much as I think I'm right. Is that right or wrong? And it allows us to have more compassion for people. Because when we are just constantly in a reactive mode, we don't have a lot of compassion for people. We just think we're right. How stupid are they that they can't see that we're right? But that's actually not correct. They're not stupid. They have different lenses on, and we can't expect everyone just to have the same lenses that we have on all the time, because no one else on the planet is wearing the same lenses that we're wearing and have the exact same perspective that we have on everything in life. And so I want you to use this to dive deeper into yourself. What are your lenses that you actually don't want to have on anymore? What are the ones that you are seeing are becoming a bit of a problem now? So you want to take them off. You know, maybe it's religion. Maybe it's some cultural elements. Maybe it's your issues with parents when you were growing up. Maybe it's financial. Maybe your financial instability as a child is making you make some interesting financial decisions as an adult. Whatever it is, what lenses do you want to take off? And those are the areas that you can work on to start to work on, either with a therapist, through personal development, talking to a friend as a beginning point, whatever it is, and to start to think, okay, I don't want to be seeing life like this anymore, because it's all just our own opinion. The way that life is to us is our own opinion. And I would love for you to think about that on a deeper level. And to some people that might be like, oh my God, what the fuck is she talking about? And that's okay. That's okay. Again, that's your opinion. But I would like you to think about that, because the beauty of understanding that concept is that we can then change it. We can see life however we want to see it. And that can sometimes trip people up a little bit. It's a little bit trippy, a little bit out there, because again, that lens might not have been put there for you. For me, it was. For me, knowing that I see life however I want to see it, and everyone else does too, was something I learnt probably as a teenager, maybe in my early 20s. And that was really interesting for me. And it has impacted the way that I make decisions in my life. Sometimes I forget that and get drawn into the crazy of everything else. But once I remember that, then, you know, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's right. You know, I'm choosing this. I'm choosing how I see this. I'm choosing how I react. I'm choosing how I see all of this happening out. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, what are your lenses? I want you to identify at least 3 lenses. Journal them out. You know, work through that on a daily basis to think, okay, these lenses I'm not a fan of. All these lenses I fucking love. I love the fact that I believe that I'm so motivated. I'm such a self-motivated person. I love that about me. Keep that lens on. Keep that baby right there. I am not a fan that I sometimes feel like my weight impacts the way that I want to step up in front of people. Okay, let's take that off, because I've been taught that, you know, larger people shouldn't be taking up so much space, that they should be quieter. All of those types of messages and lenses were put in front of me from a young age. But I was a lot bigger when I was younger, and even had weight issues my whole life, but feeling so good now. So maybe I can take that lens right off. I don't need that lens anymore. It protected me when I was younger. And that's the most interesting element, is that the lenses that we put on are usually there because they're trying to protect us. We're trying to always protect ourselves. Our ego is always trying to protect us from worse dangers in our life. It's always trying to keep us safe. We'll never try and step out of our comfort zone and be like, oh, this is awesome. It'll be scary as shit. And so we've got to think about, what lenses have we got on that have been protecting us. And that's why we need to do the work in order to be able to take them off, because our body and our mind is going to react. They're like, no. I do not want to take this lens off because it's been protecting us for 37 years. 36. I'm not 37. Anyway. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about why that lens, when you're starting to journal down your 3 lenses, maybe you want to keep them, maybe you don't, doesn't matter. Write them down and think about why have you got them? How have they kept you safe? If it is one that you want to try and take off, how can you take it off? And what would you need to do to feel safe by taking that lens off? How can you still feel safe even when you take it off? I want you to think about that as well. As always, if you want to come and share that, I would love to hear your own journey. You can leave a comment in here. You can come and send me a message, or you are more than welcome to come and join us in the Wild Woman Collective, which is our monthly membership program. We meet up every week online and once a month in person. At the moment, it's only $44 a month. So you can come and join in, access all of the content in there. If you're enjoying these videos and podcasts and things like that, then I know you're going to love this, and come and join an incredible group of women who are there to cheer you on and support you when things are a little bit hard, and you can come and feel that energy of all of us in there. So come and join us. The link will be below, also in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast. And I am going to chat to you again later. I hope you have a most epic day. I'll talk to you soon.